But we just live in a different world today. Some may say it's a better world. Some may say it's a worse world. Some may not have an opinion on it at all. But we live in a different world, and there's no doubt about that. I think social media has really influenced this in a major way. And the reason we live in a different world is because in today's world, the level of commitment that is required for success is frowned upon. When I tell employees that my expectation is that they stay with the company for 10, 12, 15 years, they're like, that's the old days. That's old school.
Everyone wants to work with and for someone they enjoy being around. When I think about leading a life of significance, I don't think about money. I think about all the people that can be changed by the impact that I've made in their lives.
Hey guys, welcome to the Guts and Glory Show. My name is Luis. I am your host, and I'm so thankful that you're here and you're joining us. Really excited about talking about today's topic, and it's the mindset of a leader. And this is something that is relevant to today's business environment, and it's this idea of the impact that leaders play in an organization. What is it that a leader does? How do they contribute? How do they make a difference in people's lives and in the lives of the people in their organization, and really in the community that they serve and the clients that they serve? And I believe that leadership is the end all and be all. I really do think that. I think that without leadership, your business cannot grow. Without leadership, your business cannot thrive. Without leadership, your business cannot survive. Your business cannot be what it was meant to be, what it was called to be, what it was destined to be without the right leaders in place that are guiding it and that are creating something out of nothing, that are creating opportunities, solving problems, and finding solutions to issues that may be arising in your business. And so leadership is everything. And when I teach or consult companies, I tell them that there's three primary phases. The first phase is 0 to 3 million. And that 0 to 3 million, we're in client acquisition mode. We're trying to get as many clients as we can, as many leads as we can. We're trying to get our marketing out there, trying to find as many clients as we possibly can. But at 3 million, something happens. And generally speaking, what happens at 3 million is if you're generating about $200,000 worth of revenue per employee, which is a pretty good amount, or 150 or whatever the number is. You want to strive for as high as you possibly can per employee. But if you're generating at $200,000 per employee, you have about 15 employees when you get to 3 million. And something happens at that mark between $3 and $4 million where you realize that people are probably the most important part of your business. Now, it seems common sense that people are the primary part of your business, but it's not evident at the beginning of your business, because at the beginning of your business, you're just trying to figure out how to get people to come and purchase your product or your service. And it doesn't become evident until you have 15 people working for your organization and you're trying to figure out how you can lead and manage these people. And you realize that you need to move into a separate phase of your business, which is the people acquisition part of your business, where you're trying to find the best people in your business. Now, recently I heard something that talked about that how businesses kind of evolve, and it's that you first start off and you're a generalist. You do everything. You do the work, you do the administration, you do the finance, you do the legal, you do everything for the business. You do the marketing. I remember when I first launched the Scott Law Firm, I built the whole website on Wix.com, I think it was. I then went and did all the content. I took all the photos. I put every link on there. I did all the marketing. I went and did the referrals, networking. I did lunches. I did dinners. I went to networking events. I had to do everything when I first launched. In addition to that, I had to do the legal work. So I had to be a lawyer and do all the legal work. I had to go to court appearances. I had to write the motions. I had to fill out the paperwork. Then in addition to that, I had to do the sales. So I had to do everything in selling the client and getting the client to hire us, which was not always an easy endeavor, right? You got to convince clients that you're the trustworthy person. Well, guess what? When you're the only person in the firm, it's really hard to convince people that you are the most trustworthy person in your organization. And then you had to make sure you got paid, and you had to do the financials. In the legal industry, you have to make sure you have a trust account and an IOLTA account. And so you have to do everything. You're a generalist. And what ends up happening is, as you start growing your business, you can't afford to have specialists. So the next thing you do is you hire generalists. So you go from being the generalist to hiring 2 or 3 generalists that can help you do the work. So you end up hiring somebody who does office management, ordering products, and HR. You hire someone who's a legal assistant and a paralegal. You hire a receptionist who also does sales. And you start finding a lot of generalists. And as your business grows, at the $3 million level, you now need specialists. This is where you start hiring real specialists in your business. Maybe not super professional specialists, but people who are absolutely capable of doing an individual task and doing it really, really well. So that's phase number 2. Phase number 3 is at 8 million. And at 8 million, at 200,000, you have about 40 employees. And now you have a real business on your hands. It's very unlikely that you can manage everything on your own. Although many entrepreneurs try to do that. They do that by working 14, 16 hours a day. But that's not what I recommend. What I recommend is that you hire leaders. And at 8 million, you're going to start hiring leadership. And that's where you need real leadership. And knowing what leader you need requires you to understand the mindset of a leader. It requires you to know what you're looking for when you're interviewing someone or when you're building someone in from the inside up and you're elevating an existing employee, which, by the way, can be a very scary thing to do because sometimes your best workers don't translate into your best leaders. Sometimes your most motivated workers don't become your best leaders. Your most outgoing workers don't become your best leaders. Leadership is something very unique, and I'll talk about this in a different podcast, but leadership is really the ability to transfer influence and authority to others so that they will act on your behalf. Now, that's the definition of delegation as well, but that's not the purpose of today's talk. Today is to identify how you can become a better leader and also how you can identify leaders so that you can grow your organization. Now, I want to tell you, if your business is 8 million or less, or if you are an employee of a business and you don't have a business, this talk is still super relevant, because understanding the 4 primary mindsets of a leader will help you identify whether you are one, will help you identify how to find one, and then will help you identify how to keep them. And this is really, really important if you want to grow your organization really big. As we approach 200 employees, and my second business is now around 15 or 18 employees, I understand the necessity of finding great people. I understand the importance of finding people who are led by someone with vision, with passion, with true grit. And it's hard to find that in today's society, and I don't want to get into this ranting about today's society, but we just live in a different world today. Some may say it's a better world. Some may say it's a worse world. Some may not have an opinion on it at all, but we live in a different world. And there's no doubt about that. I think social media has really influenced this in a major way. And the reason we live in a different world is because in today's world, the level of commitment that is required for success is frowned upon. When I tell employees that my expectation is that they stay with the company for 10, 12, 15 years, they're like, that's the old days. That's old school. We don't do that anymore. That's old school. It's not something we do today. We don't stay in a company for many years. But the reason is because companies in the past that held on to employees for a long time did not treat them very well. And so right now I'm on a crusade. My crusade is to change the paradigm under which we operate in businesses. And when I teach my clients how to lead, I always tell them to lead 2 ways. There's 2 words that I love, and it's lead with love and show grace. And I think that that's a different environment. I do not believe that today's environment is conducive for growing people who stay in relationship for a really long time. And so you have to change the way that you lead if you want to have people for a long time. And I don't have a fantasy in any way that people are going to be with me forever, but I do want that while they're with me, they're committed to the work, they're committed to the vision and mission, and that they are committed to ensuring that the outcomes that we're looking for in our business are being met. But I think you have to lead with love, and I think you have to show grace at every moment that you can. And if you do that, you're going to find people that are much more committed to you. And so, yes, I do believe that in a positive work environment where people honor your commitment and your strength, and they find loyalty as a strong suit, and they're willing to work with people and build them up, I think that longevity is a major asset. But there's 4 primary components of a leader that you want to be looking for, that you want to be identifying, that is going to help you better understand who you're looking for to grow your organization to a big level. So the first one, I want to jump right into this, because I think that you'll see how critical this is to growing your organization. If you want to grow an organization to a big size, you have to be willing to invest in leadership. And the first thing that you have to be willing to invest in is growth. So the first mindset of a leader is a growth mindset. And that's the belief that people have the ability to develop their talents and their abilities. It's not that you can just grow, but rather that others can grow too. That growth mindset is very unique because it's not just about you, it's about the team. When I think about the way I feel about my team, I feel like there's an unlimited, untapped potential for most people. The upper limits of our capabilities are just unknown. I heard somebody one time say that that only God knows the upper limits of our potential. And I think that's so true. No one really knows the upper limits of our potential. A tree doesn't ask how high it can grow, it just grows. We are the only people that doubt. We are the only creature with the conscious level that we have, the intellectual level that we have, that doubt our capabilities, that doubt our growth potential, that doubt our ability to succeed in life. Imposter syndrome. I don't think a dog or a horse or a cat have imposter syndrome. They don't go around wondering, can I be the best cat that I possibly can be? Can I be the best dog or the best horse or the best cow? Like, animals don't think that way. Only people do. And so the growth mindset is this mindset that you can grow, but that other people have untapped, unlimited potential, and they can also grow. And I think if you want to have a good leader in your organization and you want to be a good leader, you have to think the best about people. You have to think that they have unlimited and unlocked potential, that they can actually grow. I think without that belief, you're never going to find the best in people. You're not going to try to extract the best work. I love this book recently called The Coaching Habit, where it talked about how to get the best out of people. You have to be able to marry or match or join together the passion and skill that people have. So you have to take the best skill that a person has, and you have to take their passion and hopefully find and craft a job in which that they can work and succeed. And I think that the more that you work with an individual in helping them grow and reach their potential, the more likely it is that you'll have a leadership team that is dedicated to the growth of your organization. There's a second mindset. The second mindset of a leader is inclusivity. And that's the belief that your team can and should contribute to the ideas and strategies of the business. Now, a lot of people talk about inclusivity, like we want to be inclusive. I think our firm has a diversity and inclusion department. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a diversity and inclusion department. What I'm talking about is this belief that other people can contribute. And you would be surprised how many leaders believe that their team is beneath them, below them, underneath them, and not capable of contributing. They're not smart. They don't have any ideas. I think that that's a major stain on a leader. If a leader does not have the mindset that people can contribute, if a leader has this micromanagement mindset, they very likely are not going to be a good leader. In fact, what I have found is that when a leader is not able to ask for opinions and advice of others, they generally have a massive ego, and that massive ego cannot be remedied because it's a character flaw. And so if you want to be a great leader and you want to find great leaders, you not only have to have a growth mentality for yourself and the belief that others can grow, but you also have to have an inclusive mentality. And that's the belief that others can contribute, that others, that the ideas of others is great enough or greater than your own ideas. And I always say that if I can come up with 2 or 3 ideas in a day, 20 people can come up with 40 to 60 ideas in a day. And that's so much more powerful. So why not use the collective energies and mindsets of people who can come up with better ideas? I think about writing groups. If you musicians are listening to this right now, you would probably agree with this. It's so much easier to write a song when you have a collective group of people sharing ideas and coming up with the right words and the right lyrics and the right thoughts. You can really put together a massive song, a really incredible song when you have people working together. In fact, that's why you see so many songs are written by multiple people, because it just is easier that way. But when you're trying to do it on your own, it's very likely that your ego is keeping you from being able to see the potential and the attributes of other people. So inclusivity is the second thing, but inclusive to the idea that other people can share and contribute ideas. The third mindset is the agile mindset. And this is the belief that making decisions with incomplete information is still better than making no decisions at all, especially when the decision can propel the business forward. So I want to say that again. The agile mindset is the belief that making decisions with incomplete information, for all you perfectionists out there, listen to this very closely. The idea that making decisions with incomplete information is still better than making no decision at all, especially when the decision can help propel the business forward. This is what I find with a lot of weak leaders, is they would rather not do anything than to do something. And I do believe you want to commit yourself to excellence. And this is not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about not committing yourself to excellence. I'm saying that if you can be excellent in the decision that you make, even with incomplete information, it's better to do that than to make no decision at all for the purpose of perfection. Excellence and perfection are two so totally different things. Perfection means that there's no stain or mark whatsoever in what you're executing. By the way, that's not even possible. but to the extent that you believe it is possible, it's making sure that there's no mark or stain whatsoever. Excellence is delivering on a high level in many areas of your life together that collectively make you an excellent person. So, for instance, if I am good at working 100% at my job, but I only work 8 hours, and I'm good at being 100% with my spouse, and I'm only with her 2 hours, and I'm good at being 100% with my kids, and I'm only with them 2 hours, and I'm good at making sure that I work out 1 hour, and I'm good that I make sure that I go to the gym 8 hours, excuse me, that I go to sleep 8 hours, and that I read 30 minutes, that I'm reading 30 minutes. Like, if I do all those things, I can have an excellent life. That doesn't mean that I'm perfect. It just means that I have an excellent life because I embody excellence in everything that I do. I commit myself to doing what I do, even if that decision is not 100% perfect. So a leader needs to be agile. When I see leaders who have a hard time being agile, when I see leaders who have a hard time making decisions and moving the business forward because they have incomplete information, what I see is a weak leader who is not agile enough to really lead people. And so I think it's really, really important that a leader have this level of mindset. So when you're interviewing people, if you're a hiring manager, if you're a leader or owner trying to interview people, you want to start asking the question, how agile are you? How good are you at making decisions with incomplete information? And how do they respond to that kind of situation? And the fourth mindset is the enterprise mindset. It's the belief that what you do for the team and your organization and your clients is just as important as what they do for you. And I think that that's so critical. What you do for the team is just as important as what they do for you. Everyone is committed to the ultimate goal. Everyone's committed to each other, and everyone's committed to the actual goal. We're not in a silo. It doesn't matter if you are the best leader on the planet, if you're the most renowned leader on the planet, if you're the most skillful leader on the planet, if you're the most educated leader on the planet, if you don't have an enterprise mentality where we are in this together as a team, it's very unlikely that you will be a leader that is worth following. It's very unlikely that you will be the type of person that people want to follow and want to go behind. And so I challenge you today, if you want to be a great leader, I challenge you to really think about these mindsets that can really elevate you. And that's to have a growth mindset that you can grow, but others can grow too, to an upper limit that you have no idea what it is, that you have an inclusive mindset that people's ideas and strategies are just as good as yours, or maybe even better if working in conjunction collectively with others, that you have an agile mindset, that you can make decisions that are based on incomplete information, that you have an enterprise mindset, that the team matters just as much as the individual, and that the individual matters just as much as a team. And when you do that, when you have those four mindsets, it's more likely that you'll be able to overcome the trials of your business. And remember that at 8 million, you're going to be focusing on leadership. So from 0 to 3, it's clients. From 3 to 8, it's people. From 8 and on, it's leadership. And then as you continue to go on, it's about professionalizing the organization, keeping and retaining great leaders, making sure that they are actually executing at a high level. And these are the mindsets that are required for you to be a good leader. These are the mindsets that are required for you to find great leaders. And this is the mindsets that you have to have your leaders leading an amazing team. And so I hope that these four mindsets are something that you are including in your business and in your organization. And I hope that this was beneficial to you. And if you have any questions, or if you want to hear more about how you can continue to grow your business, be sure to check out the Guts and Glory Show podcast. And we look forward to seeing you on the next show.